Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hey everyone, let me know if you can hear me. Thanks for being here. Hey Debbie Fox, it's just Robbie. Good to see you. Kylie, Melanie, so good to see you guys. Adrian, thanks for being here. I'm so glad you got notified. Purple One, good to see you. I usually don't go live. Hero and Jen, hey everyone. I usually don't go live on Saturday. So when I do, it's pretty much just a bonus stream that I can just chill and hang out with you guys. So I'm going to be very laid back this Saturday. And I also like to plan my live streams ahead of time. And in doing so, I took the time to put a poll up on my community page and basically asked you guys if you were interested in still talking about this, ready to move on, if you guys were ready to do so. But it looked like out of the votes, we had 79% that basically said that they wanted to still talk about this. And we had a really good discussion last week with the Ward case studies and Alex Erickson. We also had Sleuthy Goosey in chat too. And just, really kind of talking this through without having to bring in like the low blows. Like, we don't have to bring up the McDonald's eyebrows. We don't have to bring up the way, they both look or whatever. Like, we had like a very good discussion, and even the replay viewers left really good comments. And I think that it was just a very, overall, it was just, good chat. Sorry, I'm looking through the comments on the stream too, like where I asked if you guys wanted to keep going. And we even got comments that basically said, like, we heard stuff that we hadn't heard on the topic, so please keep it going. I extended the invite to my friends as well, but I'm not sure if they'll be joining tonight, which is totally cool. Like, everyone's busy, you know what I mean? So we'll just get right into it. Did you guys ever follow the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial? So we covered it here on this channel when it was streaming live, and it was just it was crazy. You guys know how the media ate it up, social media ate it up, channels blew up over it when they just started covering it. It was like nothing we had ever seen, obviously because of the level of celebrity that they were. And while this situation with Hidden True Crime is very much different than Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, it has some similarities that people have kind of brought up. So I think that that's interesting, and we're going to talk through that. There are vast differences, obviously. One being that Johnny Depp's situation was a domestic situation. Let me just read through my notes too. So similarities and vast contrasts. Similar in a sense that Amber Heard was able to, hold on, let me share my screen too, because we're going to do a little flashback for the Amber Heard. What's interesting too about the Johnny Depp coverage on this channel was I had some viral videos, and thank you, Purple One, for becoming a member, when that case took off. And I had like over 3 million views on one of my Depp videos. And when Lauren Matthias decides to use the copyright system for YouTube and send out the strikes on Crush's channel and striking Sleuthy Goosey's channel months ago over Delphi coverage, it really irks me because I literally had my viral video from the Johnny Depp trial stolen, and the YouTube bots flagged my channel for reused, and I had to go through this whole process, and in doing so I had to delete those videos. So I still reap the benefits of them, but I had to unfortunately delete them off my channel. And so when I see her using the copyright system to her advantage, it just really kind of bothers me because I know Sleuthy Goosey and Crush it theirs fell under fair use. So, but anyway, so they're similar in the sense that Amber was able to come out in the mainstream media using TMZ to spin her narrative and her story as the victim before Johnny Depp was able to. So she actually staged paparazzi like showing up, and it was like this, that they uncovered that she had staged it all. And it's sort of similar to Hidden True Crime in the sense that she's using her large platform in the 9.5-hour live stream to kind of get her theory or her narrative and her story out there before this very small TikTok channel had a chance to, even though she hasn't even spoken out since all this has taken place. So I think that was an interesting similarity in the sense of like using your large platform to be the first to say, I'm the victim, I'm the victim. So that was kind of something I noticed in a similar sense. And she also staged the paparazzi there when she filed the temporary protection order against Johnny Depp. And in doing so, it kind of revealed how Amber Heard was a very calculated person. It was also discovered through the defamation trial that although she claimed to be the victim of DV, it turned out through evidence and testimonies that actually Johnny Depp was the victim and Amber Heard, in a lot of sense, was the perpetrator. In both instances, we don't condone everything that this quote unquote stalker was doing on her TikTok. For example, the post about the brother, that was a low blow. We don't condone that. Like in both situations, it's kind of like you took it too far. Here in the Johnny Depp, we can kind of see that even their counselor, their therapist, noted that they both kind of initiated some of the arguments and fights. So I thought that was an interesting somewhat comparison. I think when people are saying Amber Heard, they're basically coming out saying that they don't believe Lauren's story. They think that she's basically portraying herself as a victim when she's not. Now, that's I would say a majority of a lot of people's opinions on the situation. In true crime, outside of true crime, other channels are covering it too. Outside of even Krama, they're covering this. And they're like, I'm not seeing the situation. Although both situations are vastly different, both situations, one could argue, have someone in them claiming to be a victim and turning out to be the opposite. In both cases involve someone who is desperate to keep her reputation intact. In the Amber Heard trial, some of the evidence Amber Heard's team tried to included videos where Amber staged a situation while both were under the influence. Amber's video taped Depp slamming cupboards while drunk as she secretly recorded so that she could use the footage later against him and state that she felt unsafe due to his behavior. Lauren similarly displays multiple videos where alcohol seems to have influenced and heightened the emotions in the situation. And also in one video where she is completely sober, it seems, she is walking up to someone but capturing herself, recording them and stating, I feel threatened, to use later as evidence against Christina and her associates. A clear difference in the Heard and Depp is in their evidence the jury saw through it in a civil court, where Lauren seems to have backed out of any court's remedy through this situation, maybe because the judge, in my opinion, saw through her motives, and basically came out saying that it seems to me that you're trying to use a permanent protection order as a means to silence a critic. So that was just a little bit of notes I wanted to say. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. Hey, Roxanne, you guys hit that like button, please. And let's get on with a little bit of Amber Heard. And then I never gave the 9.5 hour a review here on my channel. I watched it a little bit, and then most of my coverage of it and my opinions of it came from me watching it through other people watching it. So we're just going to hang out, watch a little Amber Heard, and to get a taste for, her demeanor. And then we'll switch over to the 9.5 hour stream and see how we feel about it now that we've gone through her filings and the court audio. Thank you, Melanie.
Argument in the hotel room. All right, January 25, 2015, Tokyo. Please tell, it's the premiere of Mordecai, correct? Did you accompany Mr. Depp to Tokyo for the premiere of Mordecai?
I did. When I was,
Please tell the jury about that trip.
well, I had just started to pick out the wedding dress right before that trip. And plans were moving for us to get married shortly after this trip. So we took this trip to promote his movie. I went with him. We got in an argument in the hotel room, and I said, I don't remember what I said to him, but I said something snotty to him that provoked him. It provoked him, and when I walked into the hallway, he grabbed me by the arm and slammed me up against the hallway wall, and I kind of struggled with him, tried to push him off of me, and I managed to get out of his grasp enough to take a few steps, and I kind of curved around and went into the closet. And by the time I made it into the closet, he had me by the hair, and what felt like he was just wailing on me, but in a really sloppy way, like hitting the back of my head, and kind of wrestled me down to the floor. I mean, it felt to me like I didn't even have a fair shot, because I wasn't facing him or looking at him. I was walking away from him. Or else, I would have at this point even had it.
And I haven't watched any of this stuff since the trial years ago. And I just don't think anything Amber is saying is genuine. And I get the same vibes when we watch Lauren. It's a gut feeling. Yeah, I know. I forgot how annoying and how just disingenuous. The jury saw through it.
I would have tried to defend myself more, but I didn't. I kind of felt like it didn't see it coming, and he just wrestled me down to the ground. And I remember he was screaming at me. I mean, like really screaming loud. And what I remember of that is trying to get up and him kind of wrestling me back down, and at one point put his knee on my back. It was kind of like kneeling on my back. And I just had this struggle with him. And I look at him, and he's still got his glasses on. I just remember looking at him and thinking that was so, he just looked like he hadn't been through anything. He still had his glasses on, sunglasses. And he was screaming at me that he hated me, that it was over, he didn't want to marry me. he was disgusted. He's disgusted. He made this mistake. It was a big mistake, and everyone hated me. And I remember crying on the floor. Just, more than anything, I was heartbroken. I thought maybe he was serious. I thought maybe, God, he
I don't know how Johnny Depp held back from like just laughing out loud.
doesn't love me. Maybe he really feels this way. It broke my heart. Broke my heart. I wanted to marry him so bad. This is the man I loved, you know. Yes, it was awful at times, but I loved him and what he was saying.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Overruled. What he was saying to me hurt just as bad as anything else. I just remember that.
Keep in mind the facial expressions.
He left me on the closet floor, and as embarrassing as it is to say, I went up to him at some point. I don't know how much time had passed. He was sitting at the piano in the living room of the hotel room that we had. I know it may be hard to understand. It's hard for me to hear myself say, but I just wanted it to stop. I wanted things to just be okay. And I just sat next to him on the piano, and I just laid my head on his shoulder, and of course I was mad. Of course I was mad, and felt it was horrible what he'd done. But on the other hand, I wanted us to be okay.
Less than 2 minutes left, guys. Don't worry.
Could just put I could put the physical stuff in a box, and I just kept going back on how much I love this person. So just put my makeup on and went to the premiere with him and walked the red carpet with him. And I remember in the car checking my phone obsessively for pictures because my dress was backless. Of all times to have a backless dress.
Oh no, of all times.
I was looking at pictures of us on the red carpet. It was surreal because I was checking for bruises and making sure that nothing, like there would be no marks on me, and we just looked like this other thing on this red carpet when it was just. It was not like that.
Remember the one of her where she's like, I can't. And she like acts like she's going to stand up in the middle of testifying. And then she like quickly sits back down. Like, I think this was that same day. Oh my gosh. It was too much. It was too much to watch Amber Heard. And I think that that's exactly what people are kind of thinking when they put on the 9.5-hour stream. Like people were instantly like, oh my gosh, this is giving me like flashbacks of the Depp trial. Like there's just something that's like not genuine, or you don't know where the upset is coming from. Good. I'm glad you got a good laugh out of that. But yeah, so let's go back through again, we never went through this on this channel. So we're just going to watch it. We're going to, see. I'd also like to note too, getting a temporary protective order is often relatively easy. the initial step in the legal process is really easy for people, but obtaining the long-term permanent order is more difficult, and it also requires a full court hearing, which is what they went to. And it says, and substantial evidence, which is what Lauren tried to put through and submit. And it was not seen as strong enough. She knew that, but yet she still went home and decided to, for some reason, have Grayson film her crying in bed after the hearing. And then she conducts this whole 9.5-hour stream where she's putting the evidence out on YouTube. And even though, she could have taken the legal route, but says that she decided not to because it could involve her child, etc. So, the judge, we went through the audio, the most important part of the audio, which is the end, where it basically says, freedom of speech is relevant even online. And just because you don't like what somebody is saying doesn't mean that you can just put a protection order on them and silence them, etc. So again, looking back at everything we know now, like the first time I watched like 10 minutes of this, we didn't know that the judge had told her that. She didn't tell anybody, this is what the judge told me. She didn't even say that. Oh, come on. Hold on.
I'm more nervous
There we
for a live in my entire life, and I've done a lot of lives, or a show in my entire life. And this is not a live or a show that I ever wanted to do or ever thought I would have to do. And this has been ongoing for months, what I have been dealing with.
Worse, Hero, is on
This is not drama.
Depp's
Hidden True
pillow
Crime
or bed.
doesn't get involved in drama. We stay very clear from that. And those of you that know us know that. So I hope that nobody calls this drama ever again.
With everything that we know now, watching this again, and be honest, I mean, let me know, because I'm hearing people say that there was no significant evidence in there at all. Other people are saying that when Christina got escorted by police, she became within that limit of space between her and Lauren, so she broke it. And then we also have the body cam where the cops are telling, Christina, the cops are telling Christina that she's okay to go stay in the hotel in the bar area. Yeah.
In fact, it's so real life what has been going on with my family and with me for months that I decided to go to where I felt would protect me. And that was the courts and legal. And I filed a civil stalking injunction because what was happening to me and my family met Utah's civil stalking injunction code. The stalker was in Utah. And it was very clear to me that that was the step that I should take. And I was granted a temporary civil stalking injunction after I filed my evidence and my exhibits before the judge. That was served, and my stalker was served a temporary civil stalking injunction.
Okay. And now remember, in the court audio, the judge is basically saying that the temporary one was based off of hearsay, a lot of hearsay, and one-sided information in the police reports. And like he needed more or whatever. It's also important to note, in vast contrast between this situation with Lauren Hidden True Crime versus Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard obviously went through the court process, and then it was shown that Amber Heard did defame Johnny Depp. Here, instead of going through the process, Lauren is labeling her 400 times as her stalker and not allowing the courts to actually label Christina that themselves. So it was never deemed that she was actually stalking. And also a vast contrast is Amber Heard in the trial tries to say that because of this, the fights with Johnny Depp, she had PTSD. Lauren, we know, and even her husband's letter to the judge says that she, not only did she lose sleep over this situation, but she had gone to thoughts of, self-deletion and never went to get medical treatment for that. Whereas Amber Heard did. There was a bunch of evidence of not only couples counseling, but also the forensic pathologist for Depp's side was able to go through, the notes and stuff from Amber Heard's therapist, and the forensic pathologist, the forensic psychologist for Depp's team, which was Dr. Curie, revealed, in her opinion, that Heard exhibited borderline and histrionic personality pathology, and that her claimed trauma of PTSD were exaggerated or feigned, which obviously is another word for faking. So that was the opinion of Amber Heard. Now, of Johnny Depp's doctor of Amber Heard's information, like medical stuff. And obviously it's vastly different from this situation because we just have them saying that this is how I felt. We don't have any evidence of I went and got help for these thoughts and I only had these thoughts because my quote unquote stalker was putting me in these deep thoughts and dark situations. Like, we don't have any evidence that that was actually true. Again, I don't want to come out and say that everything that Depp's doctor diagnosed Heard with is what Lauren has. Like, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that. But I do find it interesting that not only did the jury not buy what Amber Heard was putting out there, and the majority of YouTube, in my opinion, and X are not buying what Lauren is putting out there either. So the court of public opinion is on the same page that the court in the Depp trial was with Johnny Depp's side. And they just think that Amber Heard was faking everything. And a lot of people think the same thing in this situation. I'm just putting out there what I've seen, and chat, you guys let me know if you feel the same way.
Thank God. And the next step to that, after filing a civil stalking injunction, is to hope to make it permanent. And that was going to be on Thursday. And then do you know what happened? Somehow, someone decided to let Law and Crime know about my civil stalking injunction. And Law and Crime decided that they deserved to have cameras in the courtroom.
See this like escalating of the voice and like making it very dramatic. Like, it just is like we just watched with Amber Heard.
Well, I am explaining what my family has been going through for months. The Law and Crime, I don't know, is it a slow true crime month? They thought that my family's pain.
I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh there. What is it? A slow true crime month? I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh there. That was too much. Oh my gosh. Hang on a minute. We're going to continue. 36 seconds.
I don't know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I couldn't
couldn't breathe. I couldn't get through to him. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. And I don't know how that ended. I don't know how. I don't know.
It's like the same to me.
Should be live streamed on their trial channel. I am a limited public figure. I'm just a mom who has a YouTube channel. And yes, I've become a limited public figure. I'm not Johnny Depp. I'm not Amber Heard.
And it's freaking hilarious how she says that. I'm just a mom with a YouTube channel. I'm not Johnny Depp. I'm not Amber Heard. It's just so ironic because I'm telling you guys, I'm not the only one. I seen it on X too. And they were like, this. I'll see if I can find that comparison too, like while we watch her. But yeah.
I don't know what happened next. I don't understand.
No tears.
I'm not Gwyneth Paltrow. I am a mother trying to protect my family and my little boy. And I am a journalist who has never, ever in my life heard of anyone streaming a civil stalking injunction. Ever. It is not something you do. And why? Because it's someone that is being abused, that is attempting to escape something dangerous. I never wanted to do this live.
Now, again, to clear that up, that was something we kind of debunked too in one of our chats. But since we're going through it live, I'll read it again.
But because of what Law and Crime did, I had to dismiss my civil stalking injunction because I am never, ever going to let my child's mental health be live streamed for entertainment. And I find it disgusting that anyone would want to do that to me or my family, a civil stalking injunction. My 8-year-old's mental health is not your entertainment. I wanted to keep this private. I wanted to keep my pain and the bullying and the abuse and the harassment and the defamation and the pain that I have been dealing with behind the scenes for months. I wanted to keep it private. Not live streamed to millions of people watching Law and Crime. And so, if Law and Crime thinks that my family's pain and emotional turmoil is worthy to be on their channel, that they're going to be pool, which means they can share it to all media platforms. This is just for everybody. Then I'm going to take back my narrative. And I'm going to own my narrative. And I'm going to tell you everything tonight.
And in telling her narrative and her side of everything, why did she even have to bring up her son? Like, she could still go through her pieces of evidence like she has and skip over the information about her son. Like, I don't get why that had to be thrown out there, and it was done immediately as well. I don't know. But yeah, we basically seen that the media can attend the civil stalking injunctions. They don't stream them, but for some instances they can get permission from the courts. So we read through it more on another stream, I think last week. So if you want to hear that, then you'd have to re-listen to that. But Law and Crime did absolutely nothing wrong.
We're going to go through every filing. We're going to go through a lot. So get ready. My hand has been forced. I am very uncomfortable sitting here. But the reason and where I have found my bravery to do this is really, again, for my little boy. Do you want to know a wrath of a mother? Here I am.
And isn't it crazy that ever since this came out, like throughout this 9.5-hour stream and throughout other things that have come out, there's always mention of messages and text messages and drunk messages, and they're going to share my private messages, yada, yada, yada. And isn't it interesting that some of them came out? And isn't it interesting that it didn't paint Lauren in the best light? The messages of her saying, "Who wants Lori Hellis's book? I got it from Nate Eaton." The messages of her saying bad things about the Vallow family. You know, I mean, that it came out to be, in my opinion, she was upset, which is sort of similar to Amber Heard, because her reputation was going to be on the line. And Amber Heard's reputation got hurt. And I haven't been following their channel much. You know, I see other people saying that they've lost subs, this and that. I'm not looking that closely. I don't check how much the channel's making, etc. You know, but I just feel like in both instances, they were both afraid of their reputation being hurt.
Okay. And so we're going to begin. I need to collect my thoughts.
Yeah, Melanie, not only women like this, but also true crime creators that are seen as like, we're here for the victims, we want justice, and then it comes out that you're saying this and that, and it's disrespectful to the victims' families that you've like befriended. And not only that, but the things that she says in here where she compares herself to some of the victims in the case, like Tylee and JJ and Charles, like the family of those victims, they felt like that was disrespectful to do. So it's just very not a good, like this whole thing was such a mistake, I think, for her to do. And it was almost like what they talk about now as like the Barbara Streisand effect, where she like didn't want press or whatever, paparazzi, like filming her condo or something like that. And then since she's like made a big deal about it, like it got even worse. Like that's pretty much what has happened.
Thoughts. I know what's next, but really quickly, I have my producer Grayson here with me, helping me. Let me just ask you, you know, it's going to be a long live, so sit in. I might need a bathroom break at some point. I haven't been able to eat. I'm not eating. So I have root beer here.
And here's the other thing too that I thought was so weird the first time I seen this. I'm not eating. It's like, then maybe you should put the camera away. Like, why are you doing this? Like, stop. Just stop. Something didn't go your way in court. So you think, oh, now Christina's going to put all my private stuff out there. Now everyone's going to know that I was trying to do this because Law and Crime was there. So I need to get ahead of this. Like, no. You should have just stopped, gotten yourself something to eat. If you're literally not eating, Like, that's another instance where Grayson, like, you should have said, like, no, let's not do this. Let's get you some food. You need to rest. There was nobody around her that is telling her, like, this appears to be a little manic. And then it turns into this like 9.5 thing. It's like, are you kidding me? 9.5 hours. And then we came out the other side. Most of us that were just like, so wait, how were you stalked?
For sugar high, I have my water. Really quickly, Grayson, do we want to start with what a civil stalking injunction is in Utah or before? Okay. Okay. So let me share with everyone now. Do you have that? Hold up. This is going to be a really raw live. Get ready. So let's just go over stalking in Utah. A judge can grant an order that tells one person, a respondent, to stop stalking another person, a petitioner, if the respondent did the following toward the petitioner. Followed, yes. Monitored, yes. Observed, yes. Photographed, yes. Surveillance, yes.
But remember, here's the thing too. Lauren went to the crime con after knowing Christina was going to be there. So here she is reading, followed, yes. Monitored. What did her and Grayson do while they were drunk at the bar? They talked about who was still over there of the group, Christina's group. I mean, they were the ones monitoring them. Like Lauren and Grayson and their group were monitoring where her stalker was at CrimeCon and at the hotel and bar and following. You followed Christina when you decided to announce that at last minute you wanted to go to CrimeCon. You knew damn well that she was there. She had bought her ticket and you showed up there. You knew she was there because you called law enforcement and gave them a heads up that like you would put through this PTO, which interesting timing for the PTO, right when you decide to go to someplace that Christine is at, where she's rubbing elbows with people that you want to rub elbows with and, you know, get chummy with, or you're worried about what Christina might say to those people. And it's like, maybe Christina never would have, it's like, was it paranoia? I don't know. I think there's a bit of paranoia in all this too, of her thinking that like, oh, they're going to talk about me and I feel like I'm being outcasted. Like, I think some of it is just in your head. What recordings? The purple one. Hi, Julia. Thank you. Yeah, the story is crazy. Now in 9-hour stream, I have followed Lauren, had no clue how unhinged she was. I liked her husband too. Shit. I felt the same way. I felt disappointed. I was like, I liked their channel because of her husband. Obviously, I stopped really following closely when I was out on maternity leave. And apparently that was when some stuff went down with the channel, like as far as her coverage on Delphi and stuff like that. So again, looking back at this information, now that we've gone through all the files, it's really wild the way that, like, yes, she puts this stuff out there and she's marking off the list. Yes, I'm being followed. Like, Christina never stepped foot in your state. She didn't ever go to your house. You know, we have no proof that she even knew where you lived. And you're telling your audience in this 9-hour stream that you wake up in the middle of the night and say, has she posted? And that when you wake up in the morning, you're checking your cameras, you know, and it's all this emotional manipulation on her viewers to think like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine living that way. Oh, poor thing. You know, she's so scared. She's so scared, but she has a Patreon and that shows you a list of your members and your stalkers on that list and you haven't blocked her. So you know that she's following you on your social media, and yet you're trying to tell your audience that you wake up worried that they're posting TikToks about you. So you're going to her TikTok to see. It's like you're following her page on social media. It's just so backwards the way that it was actually portrayed to us in the 9-hour stream and then what came out in the audio from court in the files. It's like, wait, this isn't what you said it was. Like, there's a video of you approaching somebody else and saying, are you filming me? And while they're saying no and you're walking towards her, you're saying, I feel threatened. It's like, stop. It's so Amber Heard setting up the camera when Johnny Depp was, going wild. And like and that was what was so crazy about the trial was he was totally honest as far as his substance abuse and his sister's testimony about the history of it and all that. Like, he knew that he needed help. And Amber Heard knew he needed help, but instead she exploited it and tried to show him in these states and be like, look, I'm scared. Look what he does. And here Lauren is recording that woman on those steps in that courthouse. And she's telling her, like, I feel threatened. And it's like, but you're walking towards her. It's just all staged to be used against them later on.
I did not call the cops, and I did not give them any statement when they came. I've been trying to protect you.
You told IO to call the cops.
When while it was happening?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, because the last time that it got crazy between us, I really did think I was going to lose my life, and I thought you would do it on accident. And I told you that. I said, oh my God, I thought the first time.
Amber, I lost a finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can, a jar of can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
Look at Depp watching her like try to cry. See, she gives all Amber's a bad name. That trial, I'm telling you guys, I wanted to rewatch that trial like before this. Wait, no, I don't want to share this. Before this whole hidden true crime thing happened, and my husband was like, "It's old, nobody wants to watch it." And then, but just seeing these little clips, I'm thinking, I don't even care if it's old. Like, I kind of want to rewatch the Depp trial. Would anybody watch it with me, like live? Would you guys be down for that, or is it just going to be no one's going to show up?
Threatened. Yes. Communicated to or about the petitioner or interfered with petitioner's property using any action, method, device, or means. Or, let's see what else. The respondent engaged in or caused someone else to engage in the following acts. Approached or confronted the petitioner. Yes. Appeared at petitioner's workplace or contacted petitioner's employers or coworkers. Yes. Appeared at petitioner's home or contacted petitioner's neighbors or entered property owned. No. Sent material. Oh, thank you. Look at that. Highlighted. Sent material to the petitioner by any means for the purpose of obtaining or disseminating information about the petitioner to a family member, household member.
You know what? Maybe we could do the opposite of this stream. Like, this stream is going to be mostly Lauren, and then we'll throw in some Amber Heard. But then we could watch the trial and then sprinkle in some Lauren. So it'd be like the reverse.
Employer, coworker, friend, or associate. Yes. Use a computer or the internet, text messages, or any other electronic means. Yes. The respondent had to do the behavior 2 or more times and in a way that would cause a reasonable person to suffer emotional distress or be afraid for the person's own safety or the safety of someone else. Yes. And I'm going to point out, it looks like Grayson did not highlight threatened. I'm going to throw threatened in there because what happened after the stalking injunction, I took as threats as well as other things. You can decide for yourself because we'll go through it all. Okay. Let's
Yeah, I really want to go through. I was telling Jay this also. Trial 1 of Karen Reed, because listen, guys, Karen Reed was acquitted. She didn't kill John. Who did? Nobody is being held responsible. FBI hasn't said anything. And trial 1 for Karen Reed was very telling, like with the other people in the house that John was in. But yeah, maybe we could do the Depp trials on Saturdays because it's very chill and laid back just to kind of listen and react to a trial.
let's start with this. It's going to be a very vulnerable video of myself behind the scenes. I never thought or knew if I would make this video public. I only revisited it again today. But this was a month-ish ago, and I was dealing with ideation, self-harm. It's the first time in my life that I have been experiencing this because of everything happening.
Again, I kind of just want to say, now the doctor in the Heard trial said that she felt that Amber Heard was making up and faking the PTSD. I'm not going to come on here and say that Lauren didn't feel these things, but I just don't know. I have no evidence to say that she was. Whereas at least, and here's a vast difference of the two. At least in the Amber Heard trial, there was receipts and a pattern of, the therapists, their notes and their opinions. And, she did go to seek medical help, Amber Heard, even though Johnny's doctor pretty much said, like, yeah, I'm not buying any of this. I don't believe that she has PTSD. In fact, I think that she's probably caused Depp more PTSD, for sure, especially when he lost the tip of his finger. But, here's an instance where I would definitely believe this more if maybe John had, maybe she stepped away from YouTube. But, none of us knew that any of this was taking place because they were both just, they were posting like everything was fine, There was never a break off of online. And even now there hasn't been like a break where you're like, oh, they're taking time to reflect, or they realize this was a mistake, or maybe they're seeking some help. They're talking about not being able to eat and sleep, and they're having these thoughts. Not once did Grayson say, like, I'm calling you help. You're not going to talk about this in front of me where I'm just going to sit back and do nothing. I'm calling you help. Oh, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of trust issues.
And so at that point, I was with Grayson, and I was not okay. And Grayson said, Lauren, I'm going to record this. She gave me permission to record. Don't worry, we'll never share this. But I want you to know there's hope. I want you to know that there's hope. And you have talked so passionately about now helping people with cyberbullying that maybe one day, like as a journalist, you need to start recording this process and what you're feeling. So trusting Grayson, knowing that she'd hopefully never make this public without my permission. And it was my phone. I said, yeah, okay, whatever, but don't ever show this to anyone. But I watched it, and we are going to watch 20 minutes of it before we begin, so you guys can understand just a bit of what I've been going through. And it's not all of it, but it's 20 minutes of a video. It's very, very raw. I'm feeling very vulnerable. And I feel like this is very, very important, because if I'm going to do this live, I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it honest.
Isn't it interesting too how they're like setting it up as, because of it, I'm a journalist, blah, blah, blah. We decided to do this recording. It's like, you calculated this whole thing. You were upset directly after court and because of the news that you were told that things weren't going to go your way. You couldn't silence people, and you were afraid what was going to come out. So you sat in your bed with Grayson recording you, and you cried, and you realized, like, we could use this. We could use this to spin our narrative and speak our side before it gets out there to everybody else. And then you had her record you in this vulnerable state. Like, you might really be upset and crying, but I believe it's because your reputation is on the line. And here you're being so calculated. Like, and even in that video, you're going to see that they say something about, we could use this for a documentary for my boy in case he needs to see what it's like to face a bully. Come to find out, who Awen, Lori Hellis, Crusha, Gigi, all these people came out, credible people, saying that Lauren was actually the bully. And it's very much like Amber Heard. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. You know, like, don't believe what they're saying. You know, it's me. I'm the victim. And then all these people come out and they're basically saying, like, that's not how I saw it when I knew them. Like all these character witnesses that came up in the Depp trial who basically said that they saw Amber, you know, disrespecting Depp and doing this and that. Like we'll go through it again if we actually do this on Saturday nights. Again, we can watch the Depp trial and sprinkle in Lauren, but you know, it's just very interesting to rewatch this and see how they're like going to paint this whole vertical view of this breakdown that she has.
Honestly, this is going to be a very honest show. So, and then.
And she literally just said honest like twice, didn't she? She's like, I'm going to do this honestly. And then she's like, this is going to be a very, very honest show. It's like your emphasis of it. What is that? Doth protest too much.
I'm going to record this. She gave me permission to record. Don't worry. We'll never share this. But
we'll never share this. Like the fact that she's like laying that out there. You know, we're going to record this. Don't worry. We'll never share this. Then why are you recording it? Taking up unnecessary space in your phone. Come on.
I want you to know there's hope. You know, I want you to know that there's hope. And you have talked so passionately about now helping people with cyber. Like as a journalist, you need to start recording this process and what you're feeling. So trusting Grayson, knowing that she'd hopefully never make this public without my permission. You know, and it was my phone. I said, you know, yeah, okay, whatever, but don't ever show this to anyone.
And she just admits that it was with her phone. Oh, you know, let's record this. And I know that Grayson's never going to show anyone. Well, it's on your phone. So how is Grayson going to record or share it with people? And not only that, it's like, it just makes absolutely no sense to record this with the intention of saying like, we're never going to show anyone this. And then you show everybody this.
But I watched it and we are going to watch 20 minutes of it before we begin. So you guys can understand just a bit of what I've been going through. And it's not all of it, but it's 20 minutes of a video. It's very, very raw. I'm feeling very vulnerable. And I feel like this is very, very important because if I'm going to do this live, I'm going to do it right and I'm going to do it honestly. This is going to be a very honest show. So, and then.
And it's ironic because the court of public opinion vastly feels that she is not honest and that this whole thing was not honest. And you had the chance to kind of change your mind maybe a little bit. And then you started copyright striking or claiming people's opinions on Crush's channel. So like, you're not honest because when you do a copyright claim like that, what she was doing was fair use. That wasn't able to be copyrighted.
After that, we'll go through everything else. So let's watch this. Whether or not this goes through, I don't know. I think that's where I think I'm willing to start talking. Because I always just want to do things right. You know, when they go low, you go high and just do things right and rely on maybe responsible people to help. But I don't know if that's going to happen in this situation, and that's okay.
And it's so interesting how she's like, when they go low, we go high. Like she's painting it to everyone that like, I've been bullied. I'm this victim, just like Amber Heard. But my real point is when you watch her interview on Mormon Stories podcast, like she kind of talks about like not ever dating and all this stuff, like not feeling pretty. Like it seems like she might have been the girl who didn't have self-esteem, who then got self-esteem as an adult. And instead of like being nice and realizing like, oh, you know, like I'll be nice to people who maybe don't feel like they're worthy or this and that, she decided to like speak down on them or think she's better than them. Like even in the video evidence that she's showing in her files, which she'll go through on this 9.5 hour stream, where she's like yelling at that woman, like, I don't know you. She's drunk for one. All of a sudden she has liquor courage and she's like yelling at somebody who's associated with Christina, aka her quote unquote stalker. And she's like, I have your number because I wanted lash extensions, but I don't know you. And she's just being so rude in public with all these empty alcohol drinks in front of her and Grayson. And the server comes over. Poor server's just trying to do his job, probably thinking like, when are these women going to leave? I want my table back. I want them to stop sitting here. And she asks the server to like remove this woman. She's bothering us. And then here she's crying because something doesn't go her way in court, even though she's not telling us that that's what happened in this 9.5 hour stream. And then, oh my God. Yeah, that's a good point, Mabel. You would definitely step in if your husband or wife said it as well and say like, no, we need to take a time out. Like you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you're following this Christina girl's TikTok to make sure she's not saying stuff about you, but she's not. You're checking our cameras, even though this girl has never even been here.
But if it can't happen in this situation, that like, you know, that like no laws or legal things can help me, then at least want to like finally talk about it, even with my boys, and share what's been happening. Because I do want to help with like cyberbullying now, and I know that I'm a public figure.
And like here she's crying, saying like, if at least if there's no help, like legally, I can, you know, do this and say my story and speak out against cyberbullying. So it's like that was her opportunity to kind of chime in and kind of explain to all of us that like, yeah, we did go to court. The court didn't agree with us, but she didn't do that. She just kind of carried it on and to all of us thinking that like, oh wow, like, you know, she got that. She decided not to follow through because Law and Crime was there and they were going to talk about her son. And it's like, no, you were pretty much told that this wasn't going to be a permanent thing. And now you're just distraught because you're worried what people are going to find out.
Hold on, just stop for a second. I was like really zen before you started. Hold on. I'm sorry, I can't even like process something. I don't know. I'm sorry. And I want John.
And what's also crazy is like this is all being portrayed as like Grayson thought, you know, let's put this down as like a video thing. Like you're a journalist, you know, let's do this and we might make a documentary out of it. So it's kind of being painted as like Grayson's like kind of helping her in this situation and she's here for her, but she won't walk away and get her a tissue. Like put the camera down and get her a tissue. My gosh, like if this isn't a show, make it authentic, you know? Like none of I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they edited out, but she's not holding a tissue. So it's not like she went to get her one. It's not, yeah, this is so cringe and performative. We can all see through it. We all see it, just like everyone saw it in the Amber Heard trial, right? Because when you're not authentic, it shows.
And I'm worried about John. And I'm worried about my son.
Like one could argue that is it possible Grayson enjoyed doing all that, like seeing all this? Like why it just seems like if it's authentic, she'd be stepping in and being like a real friend. Yeah, she's rubbing her snot everywhere. They're at a hotel. I'm assuming this was right after the court hearing in Utah. Hey, Deco, it's good to see you. Lauren, she's going to participate to an ex-Mormon event in St. George, February 2022, hosted by Mormon Stories. It feels like she's trying to grift her way into a new audience. Is she Mormon? Is she ex-Mormon? A lot of people, I don't know, because there's in her interview with Mormon Stories, like she says that she's like both or something. There was like very blurred lines for me on that subject, which is, you know, whatever. I don't care what religion she is. I just care that she's authentic, and I don't find her authentic. But thank you so much, CA, for that super chat. I love your little pic. Is that is that a plushie of Grumpy Cat? Hey, Marco. Grayson is totally creepy to grab a camera and record this. Like, yeah, get her a tissue. If this is real, make it look real. Rosie says, hey, Amber, you must have taken some time off. Miss you. Yeah, I did. And I got your comments basically saying that you never get notified. I took almost a year off because I had my baby. And then now I'm like trying to get back into it. And I really need you guys like to hit the like and just help get my channel back out there, because it's like climbing uphill to kind of get put back out there. And I'm only streaming like twice a week. Thank you for that super chat and for all your comments too. And yeah, so this stream is like my extra stream. So if we do the depth trial and we mix in some Lauren, that'll be our Saturday night. So I'll be streaming 3 times a week. It's just I can't do it during the week.
But just speak, sorry. Everything's gonna be okay.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay. I really will. But I'm like a really resilient person, in my opinion. It's texting.
Mandy, I
Is it John?
agree. So here she's like all worried if John's texting her. Is it John? Oh my gosh. I don't know. But yeah, Mandy, that was something that we brought up on Alex Erickson's stream on this subject a couple weeks ago. And a lot of people brought up that no one had ever pointed out how much alcohol they were all consuming. And then I guess there's been other instances where alcohol is kind of sprinkled in, like they've mentioned like, oh, we should have a celebration and have some drinks. And then they mention drunken texts. Lauren's like worried about some of her drunken texts getting out. And it's like, if you're saying things you shouldn't be saying when you're drunk, maybe you should stop drinking. Again, I'm not anti-alcohol. I was pregnant for a while, obviously didn't drink, and then I had breastfeeding, I didn't drink. But I've been drunk. I'm not anti-alcohol. But when I see something that I'm like, this is kind of red flaggish, like the evidence that she put in for her court hearing had Grayson making statements completely like shit-faced. It's like, this was your evidence?
Actually, you, Vicky. And it's gonna be okay. But I don't know what to say. Other creators calling people I care about to tell them lies about me, slut shaming me. One woman is going around saying I lived with her brother, which, by the way, if I lived with some random dude in East Idaho, who the hell cares?
I love that too, because this was almost like, Lauren, I think slut shaming doesn't mean what you think it means. Like some lady saying that you lived with a guy, even though you didn't, but even if you did, who cares? That's not slut shaming. And like, I'm just amazed that like she'll find herself a victim in something that it's like, but that's not what it is. Like, it reminds me of Amber Heard, where when Amber Heard came out and said things against Johnny Depp, it was during that #MeToo movement, and that was all in the mainstream media and in Hollywood, etc. And she jumped on the bandwagon and was like, now's my chance to get the attention. People will listen to me. I'll badmouth Johnny Depp and I'll use the #MeToo and it'll be trending, blah, blah, blah. Like, it wasn't that, like, you made yourself a victim, but you're not a victim. Here, she's using, some lady said that I lived with her brother. They're slut shaming me. I'm a victim. Like, that's not what slut shaming is. Please. Do you guys agree? Like, slut shaming, according to the Urban Dictionary, which we all pretty much know, but when you shame someone for the way they act sexually. So I just don't understand why she's like trying, and her just another example of the emotional manipulation. Her audience clung onto it like, oh, they're slut shaming her, saying she lived with some guy.
But this is a guy I went on a single date with, never kissed, but now I've lived with him. What else? Finding out, like I said, fellow pod.
It also almost sounds like she's saying if you've lived with a guy, you're a slut. She's like, I never even kissed, but somehow I've lived with him. I'm being slut shamed. Like, oh, I've lived with like 3 boyfriends and married the 3rd one. I guess, I don't know.
Podcasters are calling people that I know to warn them about me and tell them that I had an affair on John.
This whole affair rumor to me is very interesting, but I haven't seen any evidence to kind of back it up, so I don't want to dwell on that rumor too much.
Investigator in the Daybell case that John knows really well and is friends with, that, I mean, it's been unending. The things I've had to continue to clarify every day, and then when I finally feel like I get a hold of it, so it's not just like the cyberbullying that's public, it's what's going on beneath the surface. That's so cruel. And none of these people have been willing to reach out to me, like fucking reach out to me. People that know me, that I've been kind to, are going behind my back telling people lies about me. No evidence. Never mind that they're supposed to be journalists. You have,
mind you, and correct me if I'm wrong, she never came out and explained, yeah, I know the detective that she's saying, but there was nothing that I've seen that backed it up. Right, no one even heard about these rumors until you brought them up, Lauren. Like, what are you talking about? You're cheating on John. This is odd. Like, why are you, if it's not true, Why are you giving it fire and fuel on social media? I would never treat my marriage that way. If it's not true, I wouldn't even give it any I would laugh. I would literally laugh because I would know that it's not true and it's actually impossible. So I don't understand the mentality behind all this.
Lori Hellis, someone I've been good to that I've never brought up before. I was always good to her.
And it's funny too, because then Lori came out and showed receipts that no, actually you did send my transcript of my book out to people. So here she is crying about it. And when she's saying creators, people who I've been kind to have gone behind my back and said things that weren't true about me to other people. She never came out and showed us. Oh my gosh, Mabel, you're funny. She never came out and showed us evidence of that. Instead, she's just showing us her crying about it. And a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, they're talking bad about her. That's so mean. But she never came where someone like me is like, okay, I'm still sitting back and I'm waiting for you to show us other creators that went behind your back and made up lies about you. That hasn't come out. That never has been shown. It's been going on for 3 weeks now.
Claiming that I gave out 10,000 copies of her book and she's telling everyone to the point where we got to get an attorney. But I've never sent out free copies of her book to anyone, ever. Telling the person.
And you guys heard that, right? Her emphasis in her voice there. Ever. I never handed out copies of her book to anyone, ever. Hold on, let me just share. Hold on. Because I gotta bring receipts and also add my own. Here's Lori Hellis.
And I had a conversation with him.
With Nate.
And here's what he told me. He told me that he was in the courthouse. This would have been during the Chad Daybell trial. Now, yeah, would have been during Chad's trial. He called me and told me that he was in line waiting to get into the courtroom.
I would also like to note, Sarah, the more people who every time I show a receipt of Lauren actually lying about something related, this is true crime. She dragged in Nate Eaton into this as well because she lied to her audience. But anytime somebody leaves a comment like this, it just kind of makes me want to do the opposite. So I don't know what you think you're going to be doing by saying just stop. It makes me want someone like me, you really can't tell somebody like me what to do on my own channel.
And he was standing there with Justin Lum. And Nate said to Justin, and Justin and Nate have gotten to be good friends over covering the Daybell trial. And Nate said to Justin Lum, hey, I got Lori Hellis's book. Did you get a copy? And Justin said yes, that he had gotten a copy. Lauren was standing right in front of them in line, and she turned around to Nate and said, oh, hey, I haven't gotten my copy yet. Could you forward that to me? And Nate did. Lauren was never intended to get a copy.
And yes, facts are, and that's a true crime here that I've seen so far, is Lauren has wasted court's precious time. And she's also broken copyright claim laws on YouTube by striking Kresha and Sleuthy Goosey's channel. So those are actually crimes. Somewhat. Again, that's just my opinion. And it's also a crime the way that she disrespected the Vallow family too.
She was never it was never intended that Lauren get a copy of the book, but she lied to Nate, and that's how the book got sent. So I'm going to share this, and I can't get it to turn. And when I look at it on my screen, so I'll keep working on that, and I will post it in our community tab. This is a screenshot of a Facebook group that this person was in. And this is what it says. The first post is from Lauren Matthias. And it says, thanks to Nate Eaton, I have Hellis's book. Anybody want a copy? Anyone want a copy? That sort of goes against what she was saying, was that she only sent it to Nate.
All right. So, I mean, if we're going to watch this 9.5-hour thing, if I have something that I can debunk and educate you guys on the truth, I'm going to do that.
Person that originally sent it to me, that I did that to them. And then, of course, when she accused us of that, I then sent it to our attorney. I guarantee you none of you received a book copy of Lori Hellis's book from me, despite allegedly 10,000 people. The idea that we were purposely changing our time, by the way, too. No, we had to get a babysitter. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But it's like what this group mob mentality has been doing is taking all these old beefs and they're reaching out to them. And there was a whisper campaign is the best way to say it. It's adult bullying, it's group bullying. It's believing without seeing. Screenshots of mine have been shared.
Here we go. Screenshots of mine have been shared. So what did you say in those screenshots that you're worried about? And here, did you hear what she said? She's like, the bullying, so it's believing without seeing. Like you wanted us to believe you without seeing your evidence or hearing the court audio that ended up coming out. So many people jumped on board with you, and then there were so many people who saw your evidence and they didn't believe it.
Some, when I've been angry at other creators, got over it later.
So she's trying to explain like these texts that have been shared. I was angry at other creators, but I got over it later. It's like, you're that unhinged that you have to worry about the text that you said about them that you later got over, whatever it was. Like for someone like me, like it takes a lot for me to get really riled up.
Those have been being shared. I'm ashamed of that. Maybe you can edit that later, but I'll just share everything right now. But I've owned it.
She's like, maybe you can edit that later. Why? I thought we were just doing sort of like a video journal type thing.
I've owned that.
You said sorry to the people that needed it.
I said sorry to them.
And that's the thing too, is I think it's also important, like just because you're caught red-handed, like my screenshots are going to be shared and I was upset and I said some things, but I've owned that. And I said sorry. Like sometimes just because you say sorry and because you come out and owned it doesn't make anything better. Because it seems like you only owned it because you couldn't suppress it, which you tried to do through the courts. So just because you say sorry, it doesn't take away what you did. And are you saying sorry because you got caught, or are you saying sorry? Yeah. And then later on, they talk about how they had written up all these sorry letters for people. And they're like, we don't even know who to send it to. Because like she was preparing for like some catastrophe to come out based off of her messages. So they had already like started sorries, but didn't know like who to address them to or what was going to happen. It's like, what the heck? How much shit are you talking where you're like pre-writing sorries that you might need to send to people?
But rather than, but those people continued on. Nobody again reaching out to me. And I have to be honest. Entire rooms shutting me where I belong, where I've helped, where I've given my entire heart to, and soul.
And how entitled does that sound? Entire rooms shunning me where I belonged. It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't sound very humble.
Being shunned because of lies and of a whisper campaign and of adults who can't come to me and ask me what's true and what isn't, but rather go and start a cyberbullying campaign and join it and follow it.
Isn't it funny too how she's saying that these people can't come to her and ask her if it's true or not? And then in that one video that she's recording, and then she's approaching that other woman and she's like, I feel threatened. And she's like, are you recording me? That woman was like, no, but I need to talk to you about what you said about my husband. And then Lauren doesn't answer. She's just like, I feel threatened. And it's like, somebody was coming to you to ask you about something that supposedly you said. And you wouldn't answer it. And now here she's crying like, they won't even come to me.
As the lies continue, as they talk about my dead brother and my husband. And you know what it is?
And since she mentioned her brother, I will say, I wonder if a lot of this drinking maybe escalated because unresolved grief, maybe. Being real and being honest, like, I wonder if maybe her brother's death has, I don't know, maybe she's drinking to kind of ease her pain or grief. And honestly, it's become a problem. If you're sending texts that like you're could destroy you and you're drunk during those texts that you're sending and you're doing this 9-hour stream because of, this or that, and you're doing all these videos at CrimeCon and there's drinks everywhere. It's just, and you're talking to Grayson like, oh, we'll have to have some drinks to celebrate. And, there's nothing wrong with celebrating, but I don't know that I just wonder, and I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, which a lot of people haven't. And I'm wondering if maybe some of this spiraling or this manic episode, because I consider this 9-hour stream like kind of manic. That's just my opinion. Yes, I'm not a professional. I only have like 2 semesters of psychology under me. But I just wonder, to sit there for 9.5 hours and go through this whole charade. Like, I just am like, is all this because of unresolved like grief? I don't know. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt.
It's being dubbed dark. Like, that's what John and I have been talking about a lot too. Like, I feel like I've been like Charles Vallow running around, like trying to get people to understand what's going on and trying to figure out what's happening, and no one will talk to me.
And like, I wonder if this is just another example of her getting way too close in the Vallow case. If you're upset about stuff that you brought on yourself and you're somehow trying to say you're Charles Vallow, who called the cops because he was worried about his children's well-being because his wife was saying that she's gonna cast him out and all this stuff, and that he was a demon, Ned. Like, that was somebody who was screaming for help and like a real victim, and unfortunately the cops didn't listen and he wound up dead. This isn't that. And I wonder if like she got way too close in that Vallow case, and I think that she found this is my opinion. She found a lot of her identity through her reporting and research of that case. And I think that she's lost herself since all that case is over. And she I don't know, that I feel like maybe that's combined with her grief of her brother. I'm trying to figure this out because it's just so like unhinged to me. Yeah, she compared herself to several victims and says, I'm not dark. Nobody talks that way. Like, we learned that. We covered the Vallow trial and the Vallow cases here. Daybell. and we went through the case, and we all agreed that Lori and Chad Daybell were not right in the head. They were sick people. And when they referred to people that they ended up killing as dark, like we all agreed that, like, wow, nobody does that. That's so not normal. Like, this is crazy. This case is wild. But she's like taken that like radicalized like craziness of the case and brought it into her life and trying to compare herself to it. It's like, that's not what this is. You know, like you being bullied, even though we find out that you actually are the person who's bullying. Maybe there was some bullied. I haven't seen evidence really of it. Like I've seen Christina post stuff. She never mentioned Lauren's name. It to me, it I just feel like a lot of that was just exaggerated. Were they Greer? Greer says Lauren and John were pro Amber Heard. I'm done. Oh yeah, Curious Cat. It was bizarre. I totally agree. And it was funny because in this 9.5-hour stream, I think at one point she says, if you want to know more about me, watch me on Mormon Stories podcast. I watched it and I was like, this is weird. In my opinion, she has an unhealthy obsession with Lori Vallow Daybell for sure. I agree. The whole case, but particularly Lori. And think about how manipulative and calculated Lori and Chad were. It's just weird. She not here, but before this, like she in Mormon Stories podcast too, like her hair looks very similar to Lori Vallow's, like with the darker underneath and like the curled. I don't know. Pro Amber Heard, but his love for Brad Pitt didn't make him pro Angelina. How bizarre. Yeah, the episode was staged for viewers. She just jumped out and carried on as usual. Money, money, money. And it's one of, I don't quote me, but I think it's one of her most viewed videos. Like, that's unfortunate. Like, your most viewed video on your YouTube channel is this.
And then all of a sudden I get labeled dork.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, it's not me. I'm good. This isn't me. And then just wondering about this world in general, I think I've been really depressed because I just think about this world in general and raising my son in it. And like, if there's any hope for kindness in this world and compassion and evidence, how about evidence?
It's like creeping me out the way she just watches herself having this manic episode or this breakdown or crying moment, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, exactly, Deco. People normally don't film themselves during their breakdowns. It's bizarre to me, her just like intently watching herself. Like, it's not even like she's re-crying, like watching herself and all this is like bringing up emotions. Like, she just sits there watching herself, like doesn't reach for a tissue, nothing. And like, she'll look at the chat. She's watching the super chats come rolling in.
Real journalism, you actually go to the person. Not, realizing people are complex. That I'm complex. That I am who I am. Online, that is me. That is my genuine self. But maybe there's a little bit more to me too. That I don't show everybody. And just because I don't see it, doesn't mean I don't know what this is that I'm not. And if people are wondering if If I've stopped talking to more people online, my friends, my hidden gems, yeah, I have. Because I've always wanted to communicate and be close to hidden gems. But as I've done this past year, I've learned that there's a lot of them that just want to destroy me if they don't get out of me what they want. And if I don't act the way they want me to act or say what they want me to say. Then they want to destroy me. Or if I speak up, I think a lot of this too is I've always spoken my mind.
Me too, loco.
I don't know. I'm getting in the weeds. I don't know.
I think you can.
That yeah, I speak the truth. And when I see it, I say it. And when I think someone's a bully, I say they're a bully. But I guess that means the bully comes and bullies you when they learn that you think they're a bully. And that people, I just learned that people like public shaming. I don't know. I just worry about this world. That was cruel.
Yeah.
And I am human.
People like public shaming. So I'm going to go on my channel that has 300,000 subscribers, and I'm going to make a 9.5-hour stream, and I'm going to publicly shame this woman who was making TikToks about me, even though there was only 200 followers on her TikTok. And I'm going to shame her and call her a stalker 400 times. But how dare people like public shaming?
I am human. And I put myself out there. And for those reasons, I deserve more scrutiny and criticism. And I believe in public discourse and to criticize me when people feel I'm not doing what's right or best in the public.
That's interesting. The Epstein survivor list. I am a journalist who has worked on Epstein since 2019. I have not interviewed any survivors because this is what happens. You can still report without ingratiating yourself. I like a simple life. And good on you, and keep up the good fight for sure. Yeah, I'm wondering what she's thinking watching herself. She's not outwardly reacting. She seems enthralled. It's like she's, you know what it reminds me of? The only thing I can compare it to, Deco, is like sometimes just to get feedback or to change things for a stream that I do, I'll rewatch myself on like 2 times speed. So I don't have to watch the whole thing like the normal speed. And I'll kind of get tips of like how I should do things, the lighting, etc. Like it almost looks like she's like reviewing herself. Like, is this good enough? Like sort of like how I review my streams. Like, what should I do to be better? Like she's like wondering and like, how's the acting coming across? Or like, am I coming across, believable? Yeah, she's checking out her own performance. You know what's ironic too is Johnny Depp does not do that. Like when we were talking about Johnny Depp and his acting, this and that, like I remember just now, since we're on the subject, like he made a statement how he never watches any of his movies.
Like I deserve that. It's not what this is.
Yeah.
And the fact that rather than focus on making good art, which is what we say here in Hidden True Crime, it's quality over quantity, doing good. I've had to worry about my reputation, but also other people. I worry about you, Grayson. I worry about my husband.
And here, like that was a bit of truth came out, but then it was too true. And she had it. Well, I worry about you, Grayson, and my husband. But the first thing she says is like, I worry about my reputation. That I believed. And that was also an Amber Heard thing.
Husband, I worry about my little boy who's been really affected by this.
It's like consume our lives.
Because it doesn't stop and nobody can see it. And that's what frustrates you. People are like, don't give it air. I know, I say that every day. We move forward every day, pushing through and performing because it doesn't, we know that. And I've never reacted to it until this moment. publicly. Well, I don't think this will be public, but like just who knows? One day it might be. Like I just want to like record this for like
journal.
Yeah, or if it's ever.
And hear how like she's like, this won't be public, and then she's like, I don't know, maybe someday it will be, and then Grayson like helps her finish the whole thing. A journal. Yeah, you're trying to make it seem like that's what this is, but it's not coming across as like an authentic, like this is a video journal. Oh, difficult research. Whatever happened with that? I tried to ask Jen Lu, but I didn't get an answer in time. Did you fight that copyright claim? I hit the like button like Lauren Matthias strikes my videos. Thanks for covering this. You missed it earlier, Crusha. We were comparing her to some of Amber Heard's testimonies. Like when she's just on that screen, like not the vertical recording right now, just in the black shirt. It was just uncanny, the comparison.
Needed for a documentary or to show my little boy that he's being cyberbullied, that if I can get to it, he can do. But like, if like, it's so hard to explain to people. Like, nobody can see, not even my friends. Like, my dearest friends, I'll talk to them about it, and they're like, just don't get online. I mean, it's what we all want to say. That's not it. There is a consistent and constant whisper campaign going on, and they're pulling new people in, and they're trying to destroy me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to say that they've succeeded, but I have changed a lot in the past 6 months. And not for the better. I don't think I'll ever be as kind or open to people that I meet at trials or people I hire. I think I'm going to be less social. I think I'm going to probably be more of a homebody. I don't know if I'll travel as much to trials anymore.
That's
I still
crazy,
need to work in all the
Crusha.
process.
I'm sorry that's happened.
But I think I worry about John's health. He's not healthy, and I worry. His blood pressure is up. He's in more pain. He's angry. Calling 5 UNLV.
I think in some ways, maybe I can share like an observation. I've seen you almost like not question yourself, but like they filled your head with so many lies about yourself to the point where you've been like, did I?
And like, why is Grayson trying? This I thought was supposed to be a video journal for Lauren to share her feelings and, you know, kind of get this off her chest. And this is supposed to be like a healthy exercise. They're both saying we're not going to show anybody this. Shows everybody this. But like, why are you like kind of like making it worse right here, Grayson? And remember how young Grayson is. Like, Lauren, why I understand you need help for your channel, but like this is like way beyond business type of relationship. And a lot of people, including myself, have pointed out like this reminds me of like Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie, or this is like Melanie Gibb and Lori Vallow. Like it's really weird, this too. And Grayson's supposed to be here to kind of help you. And she's like, and they've been saying, like, she might as well just say, like, they're talking such shit about you. Like, it's crazy. It's like, she's obviously not here to just film you get stuff off your chest.
Calling 5 UNLV.
I think in some ways, maybe I can share like an observation. I've seen you almost like
sister wives
not question yourself, but like they filled your head with so many lies about yourself to the point where you've been like, did I do this? Could I do this? And you know, things like messages.
Oh my gosh. And isn't it funny how like, okay, so Grayson is chiming in and helping the situation by saying like, now you're wondering like, did I say this? And you know, something like the messages. So this is about the messages, the unkind things that you've said about people that you're worried about. And Grayson's here to kind of like push that narrative.
But I think I worry about John's health. He's not healthy, and I worry. His blood pressure is up. He's in more pain. He's angry. Calling find you and Obi.
I think in some ways, maybe I can share like an observation. I've seen you almost like not question yourself, but like they filled your head with so many lies about yourself to the point where you've been like, did I do this? Could I do this? And you know, things like messages where they've like.
And just something else I noted that I thought was kind of strange is like as soon as the Vallow case ended through the court system, she changed her hair and like went through like a different like identity. Like, you know, she got the filler and the Botox. And this is, I'm not making fun of her looks. This is just an observation. She went from turning into looking like Lori Vallow, and then she did a collab with another YouTube creator who's much younger than her. And all of a sudden she like cut her hair just like her. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about. If you do, like, let me know in chat. But they have like a very similar haircut now.
Told you that you talk badly about these victims and things like that. And like, I'll be the first person to say it. Like, this may never go up, but like, I went through 6 years of your private messages. It took me 40 to 50 hours. I think I know you better than.
And like here, Grayson saying like, I went through all those messages. And, you know, I think I know you better than anyone, you know, like basically saying that there was no other, there weren't messages of her. Yes, Martina. There were messages of her talking badly. And like Grayson's trying to say like, no, I went through them 6 years, you know, like, no. And it's like, but they came out. And actually one of the victims is here in chat. And nobody can make you believe anything about yourself. You can allow their criticism to affect you, but no one can physically put a thought into one's head. They accept zero accountability. Absolutely. I can't with the snotty blanket. Get that woman a tissue. It's so weird. And look how hard she's laughing, like about Grayson saying like, you know, there was like rumors that you had spoken badly about victims' families and victims. And I can say like I went through 6 years and there's nothing of that. And Lauren's over here cracking up. I know you better than probably John does. And she's like cracking up. It's like, I feel like this is like a nervous laugh. Like she's like, yeah, there were some messages in there though. They came out. We saw the messages. And even before the messages came out, there were people, I don't want to speak for her, but there were people who were tied to these families that basically said that they felt like you didn't really care about them as much in the story because maybe they weren't like the sister of the victim or whatever. And you made people feel a certain way in your coverage who were victim families, like members. How did Grayson go through 6 years of Lauren's messages and never see one? Exactly. The other team apparently has them and used as leverage. I can't blame them, honestly. Right? It really is just so twisted. And then they're just carrying on, Krusha. Like with the videos. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's not even... I've seen it and on YouTube and other areas on YouTube where there's been a scandal similar to this, but like, for example, like in the beauty industry, something happens where it's like, wow, that's a bad look. And these influencers and these channels, they literally take time off and they show their audience that like, they might come out with a very disingenuous like apology video, but they'll also take time off and kind of give the appearance of like, I'm taking time to reflect. That didn't happen at all here. They're just like back to business. oh, I'm going to go on a huge channel. I'm going to say my Patreon in the first 5 minutes. I'm going to let people know I feel safer behind a paywall, even though my stalker is a paid Patreon member.
Anybody in the world does? You guys,
Aside from John.
imagine 6 years of Facebook Messenger messages,
Text messages, everything.
and finding out that people are saying horrible things about me because I said horrible things in private messages that are leaking. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like, I want to be the first to be honest. Like 6 years of messages. I hope all of you would be afraid. I hope you'd be afraid too. And so
So it's like she just leaked again that's what you're afraid of. That's where this fear is coming from. That's where your fear is coming from. It's not coming from your quote unquote stalker. It's coming from what you said in these messages. And you told us the truth just now.
6 years of messages talking every day. A lot of us are like bar talk, right? Like,
what is bar talk? Are you drunk texting?
even drinking, like having like a glass of wine and sitting and talking to friends, and then these friends get angry at you, they turn on you, and they clip them in weird ways. And so I
can't relate. I can't relate to
like,
that.
I couldn't get a hold of it. I was so confused. I finally was like, Grayson, because I kept hearing things I said and I couldn't find them, or then I figured out and I was like, that's so taken out of context. Like, come on. And so I said, Grayson, you have a new job. It was not in your job description. You are to go through 6 years of my messenger messages and texts, everything I have ever sent since, not 6 years, was it 5.5, 5 years?
Started in what, 2019 or 2020? 2020.
I said, you're about to know me better than my husband, John, because John would want to do this. And these are like probably like journals that you want to burn. You know what I mean? And you're like, I said that one night, but I only felt like that for an hour, but it's now there forever.
Right.
Wow.
So, and you did it. You did it. She knew the assignment. how many days and how many hours?
It took a lot of days. There were a lot of nights I was up until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning going through, figuring out, okay, this one, we could talk about one. I think it's really funny. Everyone has this rumor that you called somebody a swinger, and you were like, where did this come from? I don't remember ever doing that. And I was like,
this person's not a swinger. I never thought this person was a swinger. What is this? And everyone's like, she called her a swinger. I'm like, she defamed me. She told everyone he's a swinger. I'm like, who the hell did I call a swinger?
So
I didn't call anyone a swinger.
I went through
and found it on accident.
I found it. I found it. And I called you giggling and I said, Lauren, I found it. You did call somebody a swinger. It was because they were on a swing in their profile picture and you made a joke, but they got clipped. That got clipped. So and there's been a lot of those.
There was somebody on a profile picture of a swing, as this person will tell you we've never been friends. And someone said, look at this picture of her swinging. And I said, why do I think she dabbled in swinging?
And you didn't.
Because yes, there are parts of my life that I like to keep private.
Can't even deal with that.
So we're going to go through everything. A lot of you are maybe asking questions during that. I don't understand. I don't understand. I want to start with that. Because I think that
we still don't understand.
You're going to understand it all a lot more as we go through everything tonight. So here we go. I'm going to start, by the way, when I say everything, not to get you guys scared, but these are all the court filings. And we got exhibits and we got evidence. So before we delve in to my first declaration, which is what got me the temporary civil stalking injunction, I'm going to set the stage and give you guys a bit of a timeline. So let's just explain a few things that matter.
All right, guys, we've been almost at this. I don't know how much longer I can do of Lauren tonight, at least. We've almost been at this for 2 hours. Let's see some Amber Heard and see if we can kind of see some comparisons. We won't watch this whole thing, but just a little flashback.
I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe. Please. I don't know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do
Look
this.
at Johnny.
I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get through to him. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. And I don't know how that ended. I don't know how. I don't know what happened next. I don't understand this. The next.
Oh my God, Mabel, that is so funny. Shit on the bed, snot in the bed, same thing. Oh my God, I don't even know a better way to end it than that.
Yeah, I remember.
Look at Johnny.
I always been over backwards on the bar, meaning my chest was up. I was staring at the blue lights, and
He's like, what the hell are you
my
talking about?
chest was on this. My back was on the countertops, and I thought he was punching me. I thought he was. I'm sorry.
And here's another similarity. Nothing that Amber is saying is truthful, but the subject matter is very, very serious. It's very sad too, because there are instances that are real like this every single day, right? Between a man and a woman or whatever, right? And there's instances just like Lauren's case. I don't know why we're even calling it a case. Where people really do need permanent protection orders and really are being, harassed and stalked and cyber stalked. And that is a very, very serious matter. In both cases, too, the majority of the public opinion, never mind the jury in the Amber Heard trial, but felt like they weren't being truthful. Amber Heard wasn't truthful. Majority of what I see, and you guys let me know what you see, believe that Lauren's not being 100% truthful either. So I guess this is just the start of us kind of doing the Amber Heard comparison. If you guys really do want to watch the trial with me, we can sprinkle in the 9.5-hour stream throughout it too. So it's such a crazy way to kind of tie the two things together, but I think that it could be interesting. And just seeing Johnny's face, like having to watch somebody lie like that about him. Wild. Absolutely wild. All right. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys all being here. Kresha, thanks for stopping in. She says, I advocate for people to believe victims. Right, me too. In fact, I've always been someone who says believe the victims, at least until they give you a reason not to. Exactly. And they will if they're not being truthful. I believed Lauren until I realized what she was covering up. And I feel like a lot of us have felt the same way. And I wonder how many of her, obviously her subscribers have felt that way, the ones that have unsubbed. And a lot of people, I haven't been counting, but a lot of people are saying that there's a good handful. So, all right, guys. So we will, I don't know, tomorrow night, we're going to do our weekly Watts case deep dive. Friday, we've been doing Kohberger. Saturday, let's mix in Hidden True Crime and Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Let's just do it. But I appreciate you guys being here. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow night. Subscribe and join us again next weekend. So we'll cover Brian Kohberger's case. We'll cover this topic, and then we'll cover the Watts topic on Sunday as well. I do want to, like I said, maybe after we go through the Depp and the Lauren stuff, like we could review the Karen Reed trial 1. Maybe we can do that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, especially the new people. Welcome. And yeah, let's hang out again tomorrow night and next weekend. So bye, everybody.